Hello everyone. Since posting my mammoth video where I reviewed and reacted to every one of Taylor Swift's tours, there was one comment that just kept coming up, and that was, due to there being no Red Tour official video like there was for Fearless Speak Now, 1989, Reputation and Eras, for a multitude of reasons there was no Red Tour, of course. But yeah, because of that, we were reliant on little crumbs, any little morsel that we could find online. Lots of people have posted videos of the tour over the years since it's been out, and of course many have been claimed and taken down, but they're not at a professional quality. And because of that, and because of the show, unfortunately, that I watched, I was given a much different impression of the Red Tour than a lot of people thought I deserved as a first viewing of it. So the tour that I had watched was the Tokyo tour, where apparently on that tour she had also been sick, so compounding her being sick and poor quality of video, poor quality of sound, and of course in other recordings just compressed audio. It just wasn't the best experience. So the beautiful Keep Calm and Contemplate Your Life Choices, amazing name by the way, put together a playlist of 3 shows for me to watch to have a more rounded, better experience, a rewatch of the Red Tour if you will, to reassess. And with this I will then readjust my rankings and see where the Red Tour really should fit in my rankings based on these shows. And yeah, we'll see how we go. So the Red Tour that I am going to be watching today is the San Diego show. I believe all of the tours that are in that playlist are American shows. If you would like to have a look at them, I will be leaving the link to the playlist down in my comments. Of course, it is also the pinned comment in the comment section of the previous videos. So if you want to go and have a look at them, please feel free to have a look at them and give a huge thank you to them for putting that together for us.
Welcome to the Red Tour.
State of Grace. State of Grace was a super controversial performance in that Tokyo show. As you all know, the Tokyo show had a pretty bad issue where Taylor and the team were not in sync in terms of which key they were playing in. Different people took different cues from different places, and it resulted in the first few sentences of the song being completely in the wrong key. So, first of all, everyone was playing in the right key for this, so already a huge step up. Something else that I had mentioned is that she didn't have very good breath control and didn't have very good just vocal control in general. She wasn't able to hold the note without wavering. And I have to inform you that this has all been remedied in this show. Now, given the sound quality of this recording is still not great. It is just a mobile recording at the end of the day from 10 years ago. So with all that in consideration, she still sounds really good. And this is the performance of State of Grace that I wanted to see when I first watched this tour. If I had seen this first, this would have changed everything. I also think that she looks amazing in this. She's absolutely sparkling. She's glowing. She's smiling so much. She's having so much fun in this performance, and it makes such a difference from the tour that I watched. I really can't tell you. It's night and day. Something that I also didn't mention in my original review reaction to this tour was that, well, I couldn't really see what the whole stage looked like. There weren't a lot of shots of the whole stage on that tour that I was watching. So I missed some things. I knew that there was levels to the stage. I knew that there was stairs. But what I didn't notice about the stairs is the kind of railing of the stairs is very reminiscent of the Speak Now tour. It just kind of looks like a red version of the Speak Now tour kind of set, which is so fun. That's just something I didn't get to appreciate at first. And it's really nice to have a kind of nod to that previous show on this tour. Another thing to mention, that the Tokyo show had a completely different stage. There were a lot of shows that had a smaller stage and therefore also had a different set list. And this was one of those shows that had the full stage, which I am calling the pretzel stage because it's this catwalk that splits off into 2 circles and goes back to the main stage. It is so fun. Could you imagine being in the inside of a pretzel loop? Ooh, oh my god, it's so cool. I've seen similar stages to this with Michael Bublé, and they are always just really fun and engaging shows. The artist always makes the most of that stage and walks around and sees all of the crowd. It's really fun. I really love this stage, and I wish that it had been consistent throughout all the shows. Obviously, different venues have different space capacities, but yes, I really can't tell you, this is such a huge upgrade, and it's just the first song. The only negative, and I'm being nitpicky about this, is kind of what I had said in the previous video about this tour. This outfit is so ugly, and I will say this outfit in particular is probably the ugliest of the initial songs outfit of all the tours. It's this like crisp white business shirt that has like a nude panel down the button section and then a nude panel on the back of it. It's just, the nude panel down the front kind of looks like a tie, which was probably intended to look that way because that kind of like bow ties and ties on more feminine clothing was very in fashion at that point. You know, bow ties are cool. Matt Smith, Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's cool. Bow ties are cool. Bow ties are cool. Bow ties are cool.
I don't love it at all. The lacy version of this top I find to be far more flattering. I just like it way better for this part of the tour. So if I had to nitpick something, no matter how the performance improves, I still don't love the outfits of the Red tour until later. Next up is Holy Ground, and her voice is just so much better. Like, it is leagues better than that show that I had originally seen. So I just can't say thank you enough to the people that have guided me to watch the other shows. They left comments saying, please, please, please have another look at the show. Please, please, please consider watching another version of this because, yes, this really has changed so much in how I view this. Her stage presence is also better. That could be explained by, like I said in my original video, when you make a mistake like singing something out of key, it does kind of like hit you in the heart and you're like kind of always trying to recover from that mistake until you get a break and then you're like, okay, fresh, I'm ready to go back out again. She hasn't had that mistake here, so maybe that's why her stage presence is so much better because it already had a good place to start. There's nothing like detracting from it so far, but she sounds amazing. She is giving everything, and yeah, this pretzel stage is so clearly the original idea for how she wanted to present this show. The way that the dancers come and dance around her is so intentional and so much more fun. The Holy Ground chorus still has some shaky notes, like when she sings Holy Ground, she goes instead of maintaining the note. She is dancing though, so that's something that is completely forgivable. Even in the other video I was saying, when she's moving around, you can forgive shaky vocals because there are different muscles that are working when you're dancing around the stage, and you know, more often than not, people have a vocal track going over their voice when they're singing, so that's something to consider. But yeah, the shakiness of her vocals is also easier for me to hear because of the compressed nature of the audio being a mobile recording, so that's just how it's gonna be, little darling. The flashing lights drum part of this song is so fun. I don't remember necessarily how much of this was replicated on that Tokyo show. I'll have to compare it in post. But I definitely didn't see that there's drums and drummers in the air. It's giving Haunted Speak Now tour vibe. People are in the air doing all kinds of fun and wonderful things. This song is so fun. I really can't stress enough. The Red album, even though it's probably one of my albums that I'm kind of least familiar with, for lack of a better kind of term, it's not like my hyper-focus album at the moment, so it's one that I know, but it's like not present in the front of my mind like Speak Now and Folklore are. It's something that like I'm a little bit sleeping on, even though I'm very aware of it, but watching this show, and especially watching it in this kind of quality, it is giving me the excitement for Red that I had for Reputation when I watched the Reputation tour, if you can understand what I'm saying there. Like, watching this is making that album come alive for me, watching this performance of it. Getting it in the form that God intended, Taylor intended, this has changed so much of my perception of this tour. Next up is Red. Something that I also didn't see from the Tokyo show was how she chats before she sings Red. There could be a number of reasons why it wasn't on. I definitely saw like the whole of that show, so it might just have been that it wasn't a English speaking audience, so maybe that's why part of that kind of conversation was cut for that show. But yeah, when she talks to the crowd, she talks about how when she plans her tours and her tour spots, she puts certain cities in certain places to give her the motivation to keep going, especially on longer tours.
When you tour a lot, you tend to learn the places where the crowds are absolutely insane. And you learn that you want to save those particular crowds for sort of the end of the tour as something to look forward to.
This show was San Diego coming to the back half of the touring schedule, and she was saying that she knows that she loves performing in this city because she knows that the crowd here always gives like 110%. That excitement gives her the motivation after being tired from touring all this time, like knowing that the crowd is going to be so hyped. That's why she puts it in the position that she put it in. And I thought that was so interesting, especially given how now, like, the Eras tour has played out. You know, maybe it's different now. Maybe she doesn't have those same feelings, but I'm sure that all tours have that kind of mentality where you're trying to give it your all the whole time. But if you're touring for 7, 8, months, a year, 2 years, like Taylor is for the Eras tour, you know, there's going to be time where you're feeling a little bit drained from doing all that work, especially considering the Eras tour being so long. So I wonder how that came into play in planning the Eras tour now. I believe that Canada is the last stop currently for the tour so far. I wonder what might have motivated that being last, or maybe it might not be last and we've got more shows that we are going to be adding to the international Eras tour list. It was just an interesting conversation to have because it's something that I hadn't considered before. It was interesting hearing her say it at this show. I also liked how she was explaining how she writes in colors and how she sees them. Blue, obviously, being sad. Everyone understands that color being that. Golden, meaning comfort. And that's especially interesting with how she's used gold in songs in love, especially in Lover, and then red meaning like intensity and passion. And intensity doesn't necessarily mean good love, it just means like intense love, which makes me think of The Way I Loved You in Fearless. So like I just thought that was a nice little intro to the song, especially because she plays with color so much in the song Red. Again, the red flags in Red are really making me laugh, and they really are such an iconic touch to this performance. I think that it's also funny and symbolic that the red flags are not performing in front of her on the pretzel part of the stage. They're all behind her as she's singing. So it's like she's being blinded to those red flags while she's singing this song. She's just thinking about the feelings of no longer being with them until the bridge part of the song where she's kind of reflecting more on the relationship itself rather than the feelings of now having lost the partner, where they start coming in front of her and she can kind of see those red flags more clearly. She doesn't do anything unintentionally. So I have to think that that was not just, that's so crazy that happened. That's so crazy that symbolism was happening. Like, that has to be intentional. And it's, something that I didn't see on the Tokyo tour because there wasn't that part of the stage there. I'm excited to be talking about stuff like this because, it's adding a little bit of an extra layer to this tour experience for me. You Belong With Me. This was not in the original Tokyo recording that I saw, so this was a completely fresh reaction for me. I was losing my mind watching this performance. She's on a stage that's higher than the regular stage. She's in this glittery little kind of tea dress with long red gloves on. And this performance is so cute. It's like a doo-wop. It's giving Little Shop of Horrors core with the oh in the background of this song. Oh my god, it's so cute. There's no twang. There is absolutely no twang in this performance. This would have been the first tour that she didn't have any twang for You Belong With Me, which is very interesting. But it completely makes sense, obviously, because by this time in her career, she was barely doing any twang. I Bet You Think About Me comes to mind when I think of Red twang, but she had completely abandoned it, leaning more into, well, it would be a pop sound, but we're in the doo-wop. So she is pretty out of breath in this performance. It might just be because of the nature of where she's walking around, how she might have gotten up to that part of the stage to perform this. There's a lot of factors that could be contributing to this, but she's very out of breath. Something that people said in my previous video was that it was because she was sick that she was out of breath and pitchy, but this is just an example that she was doing it here there are lots of reasons why people can be breathy and pitchy, and she was here. It didn't detract from the performance, but it was just something that I noted. And I wanted to make sure that it was said here because even in a good performance, these things can happen, and it's just something that we can consider, especially when we consider the Eras tour and Reputation tour, where her breath control is like on a complete other level. So it's just a progression in her craft. Next up, we have The Lucky One, and I actually watched San Diego's performance of this song for my original video, so it wasn't the Tokyo one. So like I said before, the Red tour never had a proper tour, so because of that, a lot of the videos online are an amalgamation of many shows to try and get like a video for us to all watch and enjoy. So that's why I've already seen this one already, but like I said in the original video, this performance is so good. I always thought that it was just really well done the way that she carries herself. I love how she interacts with the dancers. I think the storytelling of this song in particular is very powerful. And now, having just finished reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, please, if anyone is a reading girly, I've read like 17 books this year already, and I am trying to read more, so please give me suggestions. But anyway, thinking on The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and that time being old Hollywood, now watching The Lucky One and watching that, it makes me think of that book and just that kind of old Hollywood feel and how glamorous it was. And I don't know, it's just, I love it. If you have any reading recommendations, please give them to me. Thank you. Next up, we have Mean, which when she starts Mean, she starts talking about the venue capacity for this show that she's at. The venue that she's at has an 11,000 seat capacity, and it is a sold out show. Her talking about how like it's so nice, she feels so privileged that people would sell out an 11,000 seat venue is crazy to me, thinking that now she is selling out multiple nights in cities that have a capacity of over 100,000 seats. That, sometimes I think about like, I wonder if Taylor at this point, if she could ever imagine herself being at the point that she is now, or if that is like a mind-boggling thing, because it is really great. She like 10 times the crowds at her shows. And it is especially symbolic coming as a conversation before Mean, given that that song is all about she's going to be super successful and all you're ever going to be is mean. So it's just lovely. It's so cute. I love seeing the glowing yellowy gold lights along the stage. It's definitely giving Speak Now. It's kind of giving honor to that album with this song. She's having so much fun with this. I love seeing more of the band in this. I couldn't see it as much in the Tokyo show. I still gotta know what's going on with that skirt though, because it's only on for this song. And it looks like a tearaway skirt when you see how the backing is fixed, and it doesn't tear away. And the next song is a completely different outfit. What was going on with this skirt? Somebody tell me. Next up, we have 22. And I need to compare this performance of 22 to the Tokyo performance of 22 because it is night and day. I can't stress it enough. These two are polar opposite shows. In the Tokyo show, it feels like a perfect night.
It feels like a perfect night.
And in this show, it is like near robotic perfection in how she is controlling her voice while she's jumping around the stage, by the way. Just incredible. One thing that I wish still was a little bit different in this part of the tour was her outfit. I hate saying it, but I really don't like the outfit that she comes out in this. At least in the show that I watched for Tokyo, she was wearing like a bomber jacket and kind of capri pants, which is still not my favorite outfit, but I think it makes a lot of sense, especially because a lot of the dancers were wearing kind of bomber jackets and stuff like that, or varsity jackets. I would have really loved to have seen her wear something a little bit more similar to the 22 t-shirt that she wears in the music video, like she now wears on the Eras tour. I think that would have been a little bit more interesting to me, and then you could have done a costume change where you take that off and maybe you have been wearing something like the little baby tee and the shorts how she wears in this, but at least have had something tying it a little more visually to the Red album rather than just this time period. That's just my little 2 cents on the outfit. The journey through the crowd again is still stressing me out. Is there ever going to be a time where I watch her do something like this and I'm not like needing to take anxiety medication? Also, I love in this performance her spinning around with the dancer on stage. It's so cute. cute. I love it so much. It's such a happy performance. I really do love this song. And her voice just sounds amazing. I really couldn't ask for much more with this performance. Next up on this little stage, we have a performance that I can't tell you how excited I am for this, because this is, again, another performance that I'm seeing for the first time because it was not an international thing. And that is Everything Has Changed featuring Ed Sheeran. I love how she talks about Ed when she's introducing him, and how she's inspired by him, and how she loves collaborating with them, and how she feels so affectionately towards these people that she brings on to sing with her or to make music with her, in Ed's case, of course. And it's just so nice. It's like bringing people up to your level with you. I find that she always shares her spotlight with other people. She's not someone who is stepping on other people to get where she is. She's always trying to bring people up with her, and that's something that we've seen consistently with her. She's effectively having her moment, but she's having this moment with Ed as well. It's just really cute. The little stage also raises. She's on this little like circle platform on top of a small stage, kind of similar to the Reputation tour. And the circle of the stage starts lifting them up and spins around so that they can stand in one direction. You're insecure. And then be facing all of the people in the crowd. It's so sweet. They sound so good together. This song is really special to me, and I feel like it is undeservedly underrated. This performance just really solidified my adoration of this song. It's just... Thank you to everyone who pushed me to watch this tour again. I really can't emphasize enough how appreciative I am of this, because this was extremely special for me. If I was there, I'd be ugly crying everywhere. After saying goodbye to Ed Sheeran, we have Begin Again, which is another song that is just super highly ranked for me. As soon as the song started playing, it panned to the back of the stage, like the original stage area. And on the screens, you can see these beautiful images of the Eiffel Tower and of Paris, just like the music video for Begin Again. I really love those little nods to things that we already have for these songs. It's just a really cohesive and ties it all in. I just love this song so much. I just love this song so much. And the stage does raise again and starts spinning it around as she's singing this song so that she can sing it to the whole crowd. If you were standing at the edge of that little stage watching her go up, you wouldn't be able to see shit from there. Needless to say, this was a beautiful performance. Her voice sounds amazing. She hits every note. She's not pitchy at all. She has a lot of power in her voice, actually. Which is something that I commented on previously, that sometimes it felt like she wasn't always putting all of her energy into singing the songs, and you know, if she's sick, you can completely understand why she would do this, but yeah, she's really giving it in this performance. This really is a very powerful use of her voice. Finally, for this little section, we have Sparks Fly. The iconic 12-string guitar is out. Behind her comes down a little platform from the ceiling. It is all black at the moment that it hits the stage, and then eventually when she gets to the point in the song where she needs to hop on that to head on back to the main stage, the bottom of it all starts lighting up in these twinkly golden lights that are very Speak Now, specifically Speak Now tour themed. I really love this. I really love how it's just such a respectful nod to Speak Now for this. Also, I didn't have any anxiety when she went up in this little platform, because this is the first, and thinking about it now, the only performance where the platform that she goes on is like completely secure, and she is not moving and shaking at all in there, so her voice is really even. It's so good. I kind of wish that it had been the same for the other tours, although I understand why specifically Reputation was as kind of shaky as it was, because it would have lost a lot of the effect. It was very comforting seeing it in this show, because it made my anxiety far less. So thank you. And of course, it ends in the sparklers, so very happy. Next up, we have I Knew You Were Trouble, and like I said in my original video, the dress that she pops up in is crazy. Her voice really sounds amazing for this performance. I love the chandeliers that are hanging down from the ceiling. It wasn't something that was really easily visible in the original video that I watched. I love the masquerade theming. I love the emphasis on the strings for this performance to really set that theme. Everything here is stunning. And of course, the costume change is brilliant. I really do love the outfit that she wears under that dress. She is so confident in this performance. That's something that I've been really floored by in this show specifically, is she is just so confident, and it is just a level of performance that I wasn't expecting, especially given what I had already previously seen. I'm really impressed, and of course, she's holding the high note of that like it's nobody's business. It's just beautiful. Next up is All Too Well, and I didn't have any new notes for this one necessarily. The performance was pretty consistent between this show and the Tokyo show, which is a good thing, I think. She plays this song flawlessly every time, and the only thing that I can really comment on here is just it's nice seeing more of the stage. It's just stylized very beautifully. It's like a hipster goth version of like the Speak Now kind of candelabras and things like that. Again, the gear thing, it's giving a bit steampunk. And I love it. It's very of the era, but I love it. Now, speaking of steampunk, next up we have Love Story, and this performance is maybe the most different performance going from the Tokyo show to this San Diego show. She, instead of just walking onto the stage from the left-hand side of the stage, appears in a music box that the dancers funnel out of and start like doing little clown dances around the stage. When she eventually comes up, pushed up out through that music box and stays on there until she eventually comes down and starts walking around and is feeling very like ballet. It's very beautiful, and yeah, like I said, steampunk seems to be a little bit of a theme coming through this tour, which at that time steampunk was really at kind of the peak. This and a like electro swing, that was all kind of the peak in that time period where Red was coming out, so it makes a lot of sense that these themes were coming up in the tour. I really loved this performance, and I think that I had said originally in my original video that this performance felt a little bit like lacking compared to Fearless and Speak Now, where I felt like they were kind of just next level in their staging and things like that. So seeing this now and knowing that there was always the intention to do something quite big for Love Story does give me a lot of peace seeing this, because like doing it the respect that it kind of deserves as being one of her most iconic songs. You know, it's so nice seeing them do something really special for that. Everything that is in the encore kind of part of the show, they're doing costume changes out of nowhere. It is giving 110% visually. It is, yeah. Red Tour is far better than I had originally given it credit for. Next up we have Treacherous, which is another performance that I didn't see on the Tokyo tour leg. So this was a wholly new experience for me. She comes out in a completely new outfit. It is a black fitted part of a dress, and then it balloons out into a tulip kind of ballet-ish skirt, which actually looks a lot like the dress that she wears in the Me music video. This is really everything to me. The way that she moves, like I said before, the Love Story part had a kind of ballet feel, and that feeling was brought on through Treacherous. Her ballet moves do detract a little bit from the vocal performance in areas. However, I can completely forgive it because the kind of catwalk part of the pretzel, the inner... if you've got this bit, the inner bit of the pretzel... What am I doing? It all raises up. It's just like the 1989 tour. If I had seen this in the Red tour as God intended, I would have been able to pick up that as a reference in the 1989 tour. And I'm sad that I never got to pick up on that reference because it is so fun. She walks on that catwalk section that's raised in Treacherous like she's walking on a tightrope. It's so beautiful. Like I said, the visual storytelling and the way that they present these songs in these tours is so beautiful. And I'm so glad that I've gotten to see this in a way that I didn't get to see before. It's very refreshing. And finally, we have We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. I believe this is one of the performances that you can see in high quality no matter what. So I had actually seen kind of the most high quality version of this performance already. So I don't have any new notes, but you all know how I felt watching this show anyway. The last costume change, of course, is the infamous ringleader uniform. I can't talk about this normally. It is so hot. If I hadn't already had a queer awakening far before this would have been it. That is the tour. So let's wrap up and give kind of my overall thoughts of the tour and give you updated thoughts and updated ranking. So I have to admit that I really did myself a disservice by not finding a better recording of this show to review and react to. Now, I will be a little bit fair to myself in saying that the tour that I had seen was the most accessible tour on YouTube, that Tokyo show. So my experience with it originally is likely to be the experience that a lot of fans would have, because if they were to just search Taylor Swift Red Tour, that's the tour that they're going to find first. It's very likely that they're going to watch that show, have a similar impression to what I had, and then not look further to see if there were other experiences of the show, just because of the nature of the time sink of finding out to see if there was better performances of this show. So in a way, I am kind of glad that I had that experience, because it is like how other people might have seen those shows. However, I am extremely grateful now to have been given shows that are beautiful and were performed the way that they were meant to be performed, because it has completely changed my view of this tour. There is so much that I can see now, so much of the aesthetics that I didn't see in the original tour, so much of her performance that I didn't see in that original tour viewing. I implore everyone who never got to see the Red Tour, please have a look at the playlist that was made. Again, it'll be linked in the description, and it is also the pinned comment in my previous video on the tour videos. Definitely have a look at the other cities' shows, because they might have been doing something a little bit differently. A lot of them have different outfits, so maybe there's a even better outfit combination in one of those. But yes, however, having all of this new information in front of me and now assessed, I have to say it is crystal clear to me that this tour is at least on par with 1989. I would even potentially go as far to say that this... No, I can't. I was about to say that this might even exceed 1989, but then I remembered We Are Never Getting Back Together on the 1989 tour. I take it all back. I take it all completely back. This tour was outstanding, and I do feel very guilty that I had seen that Tokyo show and based my opinions on that. And now that I've seen, I can very happily say Red is no longer on the bottom and isn't in the issues category. Here is my new ranking. I hope that you all like this ranking a little bit better. I personally feel a lot better about it. Just as a reminder, this ranking is how much I personally liked each of these tours and not indicative of the quality of each of these tours. Like I said before, if we were going by quality, the top tour would be the Eras tour. Without a doubt, you couldn't convince me any other way. I think that is objectively the best tour that she has ever done, and I was going to say we'll ever do, but we don't know that. And I think in all honesty, bar Speak Now being the top one, I do think that this is probably a ranking that Taylor would be wanting to see. She would be wanting to see that every tour surpasses her previous one, because of course that means she's growing and developing as an artist. So yeah, I'm happy to have now reassessed this and revised my opinion on this. Thank you all for pushing me to watch another version of this show and interacting with my original video. I really cannot even express to you how much I appreciate every single one of you who has watched that video, who has commented on that video, has interacted with that video. That was my baby that I made, and knowing that it has been my most successful video in the last 5 years on this channel is a really big deal to me. And I might start crying thinking about it, because it's a big deal to have so many people interact with something that I put so much work into. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me having all of you interact with it and speak with me about your experiences on these tours and give me your feedback and all these things. I I just love the conversation that I'm having with all of you, so thank you. Thank you all for watching this video. I had a blast with this one. I've got a lot of ideas for what I want to do next. I kind of rushed this one forward in terms of my planning. I was planning on doing another album reaction video. Maybe I will do that next week. We'll see how we go. Is doing a Beyonce reaction video too late now? It's been out for a little bit. Let me know if you guys would like to see a Cowboy Carter reaction video like my Eternal Sunshine Ariana Grande reaction video. Let me know. I would really like to do that. It's an album that I want to give some time to on this channel. So yes. But yes, thank you again so much for hanging out with me today, and stay safe, stay hydrated, and I will see you all next time.